Hey guys, welcome back to the walkthrough. We are on episode number 4 of our walkthrough to get our platinum. Just to give you guys an update, we are at 11 smithing stone 1s and 4 smithing stone 2s, and we have 1 somber 1 at this point in the game. I am using the longsword, and I also have tried out the claymore. We picked up in the last episode the great axe, the morning star, and the whip. This was a random drop, so I'm not going to count that. We also picked up a torch, and this was a random drop as well. The morning star is a good weapon for doing strike damage. It has innate blood loss, which makes it really good. The range is quite short. The claymore is a quite nice weapon, as well as the Lord Sword and Great Sword. Both of these are great weapons to start with. I'm not a huge fan of the great axe, but you can try it out, see if you like it. It has a pretty hefty strength requirement, though, of 30. The dagger was also a random drop. I'll show you where you can buy one of those before too long. So we also picked up this twin blade talisman as well. So let me just make a note of that real fast in my notes here. So I don't forget. Twin blade talisman. Just trying to make notes as we go along here, so I don't forget on some stuff. Alright, so we are here in the Castlemore Rampart. We're going to make our way around. Let me just reset these markers. You don't have to do this if you don't want. But we're going to make our way around, right around here. There's a waypoint. And then we're going to go across this bridge. And come up here, grab an item. Come down here, grab an item. Over here and grab an item. And then we'll eventually make our way up to here. And that's all the markers that I have. So at the end of the episode, I left my runes on the ground just to show you that it's not a big deal if you lose them. Not to worry about it. About 1,500 or so. I could definitely kill that boss with this weapon. I'm just gonna decide not to. Alright, we got a Trinity's Lily here. There's some dogs. And then right up this cliff, we have a Grace. Okay. And then from the Grace, we're just gonna kind of hug this wall over here. And there is a bridge. Let's kind of go past this guy. You can kill him if you want. Alright, these guys drop a pretty good weapon, so I'm gonna kill them. If I get the weapon, I probably won't use it, but it is definitely a pretty good weapon. Just be careful, they can poison you. It's a fairly low drop rate, but you can farm these guys for their weapon. Guardian Spear is quite good. There's about, I think there's like 4 of them. I'm just picking up random crafting material as I walk. Okay. Just gonna get some runes. I'm just showing you, like, you know, it's not a big deal. You get runes pretty easily. Just kill stuff, you know. No biggie if you lose your runes. You will learn to not be attached to them. Because there's a good chance you're going to die some in this game. And when you die, you will lose them. Alright, so one of these guys, I believe, has a horn. The one with the flag. You can kill him first if you want. There's also a spellcaster, so be careful. And that one there drops to his straight sword. Honestly, if I get that straight sword, that I would probably use it. But that straight sword has got a pretty low drop rate. It's basically the best straight sword, in my opinion, but it has got a pretty low drop rate. Alright, we're going to go in here. Okay, we're going to get our first sacred tier. Clear our marker. Go and rest if you want. So in our flask, we can increase the amount that the flask does. Now we'll get more healing. We also have an opportunity to talk to Melania again if we want. Say, I'm interested if you want to learn more about the story, and she'll tell you a bit more about America.
I will give back what I once claimed, return to the lands between, grow strong in the faith.
Tells you a little bit about Lord Joffrey. Just a little bit more lore there that you can get. That is not relevant to the platinum, so don't worry about it if you don't do that. There is another shield here, and then you can kill these guys and farm them for those straight swords. Those are the bandit curved sword. They're quite good. Once you actually hit them, they're going to get this second one. You have to hit them again, or else they'll get back up over and over again. And these guys also drop their spear. Again, it's a kind of a low drop rate. And the blood grease right here. Make sure you get that. We'll get the recipe to make that in a little bit. And then there's some mushrooms. Alright, let's take a look at that shield that we got. So, it's quite a bit worse than our regular shield, but it has a bit more holy damage negation. So if you run against something that's got holy, you could use this. Honestly, the heater shield is pretty solid. If you go up there to that tree, there's going to be a boss up there. We will eventually get to that. For now, I'm just going to avoid all these enemies, and we're going to just kind of ride past here to our next waypoint. You can kill the animals for bones if you want to craft some arrows. You can buy the recipe from Kali. So we have a set of runes here. There is right there in that entrance, there's a couple of enemies, quite hard. And there's actually a pretty good weapon there, so let's go ahead and kill this rat. This group of enemies in particular hit quite hard. So, what I recommend is to kind of, you could use your summons, so let's, you could get those out now if you wanted to. Again, I'm not using those because alright, there are this guy here. And you see there's two of them. These are some of the most dangerous low health enemies that are in the game, in my opinion. Just look how hard they hit. Heal up. And there's two of them, so be careful. Heal up. Definitely be careful with these guys. The pages hit quite hard. Once you fill those out, you're going to get a pretty good item here. So this is the Winged Scythe. If you're a faith build, it's quite good. I don't think I have the stats to use it. Yeah, it requires quite a bit. It does have innate blood loss, and it's got an Ash of War that's called Angel's Wings. It's quite good. It scales primarily with faith as you get higher, and it is pretty good. But it does have a pretty steep requirement to use. So, just trying to show you guys that. So that is the Wing Scythe again. I don't have the stats to use it, but it's pretty cool. I guess I could show you the whip as well. I don't have the stats to use this either, but the whips you cannot use to do a critical attack, by the way. And then the Wing Scythe is... So if you don't have the stats, you can't show off the Ash of War, basically. But look at this Ash of War. And normally there would be like some glowing holy damage that would come off of it as well. And then the Morning Star that we picked up, let's just show that off a little bit. And then it has Kick as its Ash of War. You can change that as well. That is quite good. In fact, I will probably put that, if I can, on my second weapon. So I have a piercing damage, standard damage, and strike damage all together. So you're going to run into some enemies like rock type enemies that are weak to strike damage. Alright, so there's another one of those Everjails. We're not going to do that right now, but you could use a Stone Sword key to go in there, and there is a boss fight in there. But right now we are going to go up and we're just focusing on some upgrades. Just kind of come in the side of this church to avoid those two enemies at the door. And the churches in general have sacred tears. And so you can increase the amount of healing that your flask does. Very important. Alright, so we got another sacred tier. We can increase our flask amount again. Alright, so now we've got 2 upgrades to our flasks. A couple sacred tiers. We're just going to kind of come off. This big walking mausoleum. Moment to talk about that. These allow you, when you beat a boss, you can get their gear or their weapons or their spells. These walking mausoleums allow you to duplicate it. Whenever you beat a boss, they'll usually have 2 items, and you can choose between the 2. There is another ruins here. There's nothing in these ruins right now. We'll come back to these later. But basically, they have little things on their feet, like rocks here, and you can knock them off and the tower will drop to the ground and you can go in the door and you can duplicate what's called a remembrance, which is what the boss drops. So right now we have about 1,000 runes, which is good. Let's go ahead and just make our way over to this little cabin. Get some more rune items there. I'm just going to bust our way through here, and there's a merchant there we can talk to. Let's get the grace first. Okay. Let's talk to this merchant. So this merchant sells a couple of things. One, they have the Latern. So we will want to come back and get the Latern. They sell Bloody Fingers, so you can invade other players' worlds. They sell Arteria Leaves, which are rare, and there's a limited number of them in the world. And they sell Smithing 2s, so we are going to need more Smithing 2s. In particular, we need a total of 12 of those. We have 4. And they also sell the Zweihander, which is a colossal sword, which is pretty good. It's one of the better starting weapons. If you want a strength-based sword, this is quite good. I do recommend trying it out. As far as items, the smithing stones are the thing that I probably care about the most, and we need 1,200 to get all 3 of them. 1800 to get the lantern. So let's see how many rune items do we have. Probably not very many, right? I haven't done a lot. So we have 400, 800 total. So I could get the lantern at this point, or I could get the smithing stones. And I think I'm going to just get the lantern. I probably should just use it 200. That's okay. So I'm just going to buy the lanterns. I need another 400. So let's do that. So we're going to use all of our smithing stones. And again, if you don't have these, you can go kill some enemies, get some runes. I just think it's important to get this kind of early. You could just use the torch if you want, but let's show the example of why this is better. So the torch, you have to equip in your arms, right? So then you can't have the shield out, or you can't two-hand your weapon, or you might not even be able to use your weapon, right? So not as good, right? It doesn't provide as much light. The lantern, however, can go into these pouch slots. So we're going to switch this out for the lantern. And now, let there be light, and we don't have to hold it. This is why I like the lantern quite a bit more. You could come over here, you could kill all these enemies if you want it. I don't think they drop very much as far as runes. I think they're like 20 a piece or something. Like, they're not much. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, I mean, we're getting a little bit here. So per zombie-looking creature, we're getting 36. So you can see that would take us quite a while to get any amount of real runes. So that's why we're not going to bother with that. Alright, let's take our markers off here. Oh, I actually forgot this item. So let's go back up here to the Church of Pilgrimage. Didn't follow my path that I marked for myself. You might be like, why didn't you go up there? I got sidetracked. Okay, it happens. Alright, so 2, 4. 1 can come off. Alright, so 2 and 4. So we're going to go to 2. Getting a couple of items real quick. While we're here, I want to make sure we're taking care of our magic users that want to be mages as well. So we're going to grab some stuff for them as well. Alright, so kind of drop down the side and avoid that big flower that's over there. You could kill the flower if you want. They're kind of annoying, especially if you don't have any upgrades on your weapon or fire damage. Alright, I'm just going to come in here, grab this Faith Knot Crystal Tear. And we can kill the little flowers, just be careful. You will get poisoned, your health will tick down. It's not great, it's not fun. Alright, so Faith Knot Crystal Tear. This is going to go into our other flask that we don't have yet, and it will give us temporarily 10 points in faith. So we will be using that for a little while at least. Alright, now we have these runes over here. Now, for you guys, I would probably recommend getting out the summon, because this is going to be a little easier with the summon. So as soon as you get close, you'll see there's a big old boss in here, right? You get a little closer, and now that tombstone appears. Now you can actually summon if you want to. There's a bunch of enemies in here. And I got my shield out. This is why I said you might want to summon. The queen actually will help kill some of these enemies. Alright, once you kill her, you get a little prompt about sorceries because she drops a staff and a spell. And once you kill her, all of her little minions are now terrified of you. They're like, you killed our queen. Right? So get the arteria leaf, and now you can kill these guys if you want. Get some extra runes. That club that he has, that's the large club. That's a pretty good weapon as well. You can definitely get that. Having trouble with this guy, like I said, definitely can use summons. That is an option. Don't feel like you can't do that. Birds drop eggs sometimes, they drop feathers sometimes. You can get these root resin, which are good. Those are used in crafting. If you don't find that, it's not a big deal. I'll show you a place to get a bunch of those. And again, see, these guys are afraid of you now that you killed their queen, so you can just kind of walk around and backstab them. You can also kill them all before the queen if that's easier. Some of them will aggro on you if you kill too much. That is one of the things that can happen. That one in particular, be careful. And as you can see, they don't really drop anything. I mean, you can farm them, though. They do drop stuff if you farm them. Just be careful. They will, you know, they can hit you hard. You don't have to kill them, but why not, right? We're just running around the ruins, killing everything. I don't think there's anything else in here. The staff is the main thing that you come in here for. And the reason that I'm getting that staff is, let's say you just want to kind of do a light splash. Get a couple spells. That staff is at a very low requirement. I'll show you soon. Once I get done killing all this stuff over here. Grab these real quick. Little trap. Okay. So, you know, you can walk around, kill everything. Think that's everything, maybe. Alright, so let's take a look at that staff that we got. So, Demi-Human staff requires 10 intelligence, so it's like really low. You start with 9 with this build. So if you wanted to use the staff, it's pretty good for a starter staff and let you use some intelligence-based spells. So, alright, that's the Demi-Human Ruins. So we came from here, went around, got our faith crystal tier right about here, and then came into the ruins and killed the queen. Alright, so let's go back here now to our merchant shack. We should have enough runes to maybe buy some smithing stones. Alright, so let's buy all 3. And then again, you could get the Zweihander if you want. You could save up for that. It's pretty good. I've got like 1,300 runes left. I'm just going to save those. And we're going to show you where some more upgrades are at. So, let's go back to the gate front here, where we started. And, you know, we'll go up a little bit here. Now we're going to go north. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come up through this road here. We're going to hit this shack right here. And then we're going to just kind of follow this path to like right about here. Come back and we're going to go right about here. And that'll be next episode. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Until next time.